From the Bhagavad Gita, I learned that the greatest battle is not outside, but within the mind. As Krishna himself says, the mind can be your best friend or your worst enemy. For most of us, this inner battle appears as self-doubt, stress, anxiety, and even depression. It is a war we fight daily in the battlefield of the mind, against our own thoughts and emotions. A restless mind can weaken even the strongest person. It can turn opportunities into obstacles, dreams into nightmares, and create unnecessary struggles in our daily lives. And unless we learn to master the mind, we cannot truly win in life. This was also the case for Arjuna. Though he was one of the greatest warriors in history, when he saw his own relatives standing against him on the battlefield, his mind became clouded with misery, fear, and doubt. His body trembled, his breath grew heavy, and he could not even lift his weapon. In that moment, he was not defeated by his enemies. He was defeated by his own thoughts. He had the strength to fight, but his mind made him powerless. In the chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita, it vividly describes Arjuna's suffering. It was only after Krishna imparted divine wisdom that Arjuna overcame his inner battle and regained his strength. For us too, to truly live the life to the fullest, we must first win the battle within the mind. The mind is restless. It constantly jumps between thoughts, emotions, and desires. And if left uncontrolled, it creates stress, anxiety, and suffering. But when disciplined, the same mind becomes a source of peace, clarity, and self-mastery. And no, this isn't something that happens overnight. There is no shortcut. It's a gradual process of inner transformation. From reading the Bhagavad Gita, I have found that one of the most powerful ways to win this battle is to cultivate letting go or surrendering attitude. If you look closely, you will see that most mental struggles arise from the illusion of the self. This is called ego or ahamkar in Sanskrit. Ego helps us navigate the world by giving us a sense of individuality. However, when left uncontrolled, it creates a false identity. That is when the ego overly attached to the body, mind, achievements, possessions, and desires. This attachment fuels the illusion of control, making us believe, I am the doer. The ego tricks us into identifying with every action, making us obsessed with results, which in turn leads to stress, anxiety, and suffering. It keeps us trapped in the cycle of I, me, and mine. The Bhagavad Gita clearly states that all actions, including yours, are actually governed by the forces of nature. But the ego makes us thinking that I am doing everything, or I owned everything. But when we cultivate an attitude of surrender, we free ourselves from the grip of the mind. So, what is surrendering? Surrender is the realization that there is a higher force beyond our ego, one that governs all actions, including our own. It is an act of trust, allowing us to move through life with peace. It's an attitude that can be reached through logic or the heart. You can use logic and reasoning to see that a higher force or intelligence is always at work, controlling everything, including you. Or you can listen to your heart and feel the presence of that divine force and trust in it fully. So whichever path you take, when you understand this profound truth, as the Gita reminds us, surrender happens naturally. The ego loosens its grip, selflessness arises, and true freedom is found. And this is the key to inner victory.